Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And you guessed it, my friends, we have yet another amazing guest. We have an exciting week, and it's always something popping here at Legendary Marketer. We're just staying on the forefront of digital marketing and really always into some cool stuff. This morning, we're going to focus on our guest because that's what we do on this show. For those of you who are new, each one of our guests is an actual customer here at Legendary, and they've gone through our courses, and we invite them on to share their experience and talk about what it's like to learn, to launch, to become a leader in their own right. And this morning is no different. We have a former salon owner who's taken a leap of faith into online business, tried something new, and we're here to hear how it's gone for her. So with that being said, my friend Jordan, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Well, I know you're a little nervous. Hey, guess
Yeah.
what? I am too. I am too. You know what? I'm a little nervous sometimes too. You would never know it, but
Yeah.
you know, I think that sometimes we think that just because somebody's done something for a little while, that they never get nerves or never have human feelings. But
hmm
here I am being a human being, and you are too. So, what? Tell us where you're calling in from.
I am from Iowa, so the
Okay,
Midwest.
okay. Iowa.
Yes.
Nice, nice. There's actually human beings out there. That's good to
Yeah.
know. Yes, yes. So former salon owner, still in that business or not?
Yeah. So I started my salon back in 2010. So I've been an entrepreneur for 14 years and I closed the doors 2 years ago. So 2022.
Okay, you close the doors.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was a big deal because that was my everything. That's what provided for I have 4 children, provided for me and my children. So that was a big deal. um,
Yeah.
yeah. And I also have another business that is a product base. And so I was kind of just going on to the online world. And
Gotcha.
yeah.
So, had you ever done when you found Legendary and started here learning these strategies and the business models that we teach here? Had you ever done anything on no?
No,
Okay.
no. Like I needed you 3 or 4 years ago when I started going through the training. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed.
For your hair salon business or for your product based business?
So yeah, I have a tea shop. So I had a tea shop. I had a business partner and had my salon for 12 years. And he's like, I just got a space open. You've been talking about doing a tea shop. You should really, do the tea shop in this space. And I'm like, I really don't want to open another business. And I
Yeah.
kind of backed away. I'm like, this is your thing. You should do it. Kind
Yeah.
of really pushed me into doing it. And so I created 17 different blends and opened the doors, and it was very successful. But I saw the online world and saw, the bigger picture, and ended up moving everything online.
Okay.
So, with that being said, I needed you when I moved everything online, just with the training.
Yeah. So when you started going through our challenge, like what light bulbs went off for you? Like what resonated with you? What stood out as like, oh snap, I wish I would have known this. Or, man, I needed this 3 years ago. Like what comes up for you as like for a brand new person who's listening, like each person is going to have different things that stand out to them. What resonated most with you? Oh snap, we just lost her. Oh, here she is. Hold on. It's all good.
Sorry.
You're
I
back.
had, yeah, the online business, and I didn't have any idea how to set up an email campaign. So I had all these people subscribing, but I had no idea how to set that up. And then also, I've always seen all these entrepreneurs have all these funnels and all these ways that they're promoting their products and promoting different things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is exactly how they got started, how they learned how to do the online world. So yeah, that was a big click for me.
You kind of had the marketing glasses, right? That
Yeah.
you now suddenly were able to see the world and go, mother son. That's
Yes.
by the way, I think it was 2 days ago. I actually popped the top off of my
Yeah.
hat. So, anyways, here lies a beautiful what do we call that? It's like a top button,
Yeah.
right, to a hat. Every hat has them. Such an
Yeah.
interesting thing, right? That
Yeah.
little
What they're
custom.
for.
I wonder what it's. Yeah, I wonder if I can pop it back on. Probably can, and it'll stay maybe as long as I. Oh wow, look at that. But it's been
Good. Yeah.
sitting on the floor for 2 days. Um, so what do you think was one of your biggest limiting beliefs that you had to overcome in order to kind of do this stuff?
Yeah. So, oh my gosh. And when I really got into it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to share this with the world. Like, I needed this training so bad. And then to be able to really, like, whatever your heart desires, what is your dreams? What do you want to really get into? So that was the big key for, really switching my everything into being a part of Legendary. And I've just put my whole heart into this because I just feel such like it is helping. Like that is I feel so it's one of the biggest things for me is to be able to help people, and for me to be able to share this knowledge with others is huge for me.
Yeah. So are you were you one of those people who got right on video and it was easy for you and you were just you
Oh my
kind of
gosh, yes.
it was?
Right away I was like, oh yeah, if you look back, so I found you guys in November, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to keep this to myself. I got to like go through everything, and I went through everything like it was a college course. And I ended up going with some girlfriends to Nashville, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get back and I got to hurry up and finish these 15 days. And when I got back, my heart was like, oh my gosh, I got to share this. And I instantly went on online and just started doing videos about, the different ways of being an affiliate for a multiple different avenues, and being able to bring in income from multiple, yeah, animated.
So that you kind of just flowed kind of right on to video and just started sharing. Why do you think that? Why do you think that? Was it just that you kind of didn't care what people thought? Was it that you just were so passionate about this idea of people? It looks like you're working right now in the online marketing niche.
Yeah.
Was it that you were so passionate about teaching these skills? Was it that you were so burnt out from previous things and you knew the alternative routes that
Yeah.
this was just like, whoa, I
Mhm.
already know what it's like to go and work in a brick and mortar business and have
Yeah.
to show up every day and sit in there and
Mhm.
talk to people in real life. Was this kind of a no brainer that, hey, video, I might not look like the way that I look one day or the way that my voice sounds, whatever, who cares? It's still easier than what I've done for the past 15 years.
Yeah. Yes. So with being an entrepreneur, I feel like I'm the type of person where I'm a manifesting generator. So I like have my hands, kind of in different avenues. And so I was actually also trained out of Australia as a life coach. So a leader, and really being able to get into the mind and being able to shift out of the fear, a lot faster. So when my heart is really set on something, it is easier for me to be able to flow into that and where it's just kind of flow out. But mindset is a huge thing. You go into it and you're like, oh my gosh, just like you say, or you've said as you go into it and you go, and then you kind of step back. You got to work on the things that you need to work on, and then you move forward, and it's just beautiful. So it's a journey. Mm-hmm.
So what do you think the biggest mindset, strategy or realization that you've had over the years that has helped you to be able to execute fast and just helped you to be able to be more successful and not get caught up in your head, which I always say, my head, it's a bad neighborhood up there. Try not to go up there alone, but
Even when we do the work, I feel like we still, got to do the work. It
it never ends, right? It never ends.
No, it never. Yeah.
What
Mm-hmm.
if you, what is for some of the people who don't have the mindset, of an entrepreneur, or haven't been an entrepreneur for years and aren't used to taking risk and aren't used to putting themselves out there and are used to being in a more what feels like a comfortable or a kind of a risk-free environment where they may have been going to a job and feel more secure. That, like, what do you think your top one or two mindset tips are for somebody who is feeling like this is a real task instead of and are having a hard time getting into flow?
Yeah. Like raising your vibrations. So moving and dancing, and really, when we get into our minds, it's really getting into like what makes you feel happy, going for a walk, being in nature, like what brings you joy. Uh, One of the biggest things when I first kind of got into the mindset was really listening to the podcast of, um, the bigger people out there that work on mindset. I can name off a whole bunch that have really, really helped me, but that has been a huge thing for me. And then also just, being in prayer, meditation. Like when we get in our heads, I think just kind of going and listening to what is being brought up. And, we go through lessons our whole entire lives, and we can either learn from that lesson or we can be stuck in that lesson. And that has been a huge thing that has really helped me and helps when I'm going through that. I'm like, okay, what is the lesson that is being brought up? Why am I going through this? What do I need to learn from this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that point of that we have lessons throughout our whole life, and we can either learn from that lesson or be stuck in that lesson. That's a quotable. And I think that with some of our the people inside of our community and the people just in this industry who have tried entrepreneurship and have tried various different models, gone through courses, tried different businesses, whether it's drop shipping, MLMs, whatever it is, right? And still are still struggling,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? It's like, what are you supposed to learn from that, right?
Yeah.
Because the point, what you just said is so spot on. You can get stuck in that lesson. It's like, then you go to the next thing, you do the same thing. You go to the next thing, you think it's the thing, it's the business, it's the mentor, it's the support, when it's really you're the common denominator in every situation. So what the hell is the lesson that you're supposed to be learning so you can step out of that cycle or that pattern? What is the lesson that you're supposed to learn? Maybe it's consistency. Maybe it's sticking with something until your miracle happens, whatever that miracle is for you. Maybe it's that, you need to stop caring so much about what people say. Maybe there's a pattern of fear of judgment a fear
That
of
is
judgment that
huge. Oh, yes.
I
That is,
get all excited about something in private, but then when it's time to take my business to launch in publicly, I get cold feet because I care too much what people think.
oh my God.
That's huge for a lot of
And
people, right?
it's for everyone. I think we all go through that. I mean, that was the biggest thing with, family, because I went all on my personal pages because I feel such a passion in this and I want people to know exactly what I'm doing. So my biggest thing, family and friends seeing that. And it's like, if you, yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Because you can either take it to your head and quit your dreams, or you can let it go because they're not paying your bills. Is kind of the biggest, but it's hard to get there sometimes.
Totally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, we can be like, oh, I don't care about what you got to say. You're paying my bill.
But then you go home and you're like, okay, I kind of did.
Right. We talk a big game, but it's hard to back it up with action. But I really feel one of the biggest, if I was to think about what's one of the biggest mindset things that I've done, is using that fear and turning it into sort of defiance. And defiance is usually kind of it's like oh, wow, he's defiant. But really, for me, defiance can be in rebellion, right? Can be a powerful emotion that I can easily channel my fear of what other people think and my kind of fear of what other people are saying about me into sort of some defiance and some rebellion of that I'm not going to worry. I'm gonna break the mold. I'm going because it's hard to fear is energy. Fear
It
is
is.
a big old ball of emotion and energy inside of your body. And the question is, it's like gas, but the current form that it's in is not useful, right? It turns into anxiety and depression, right? So how do I take that big tank of gas of fear and worry, and how do I transfer, or just if I was a scientist, I'd understand all the words and be able to, but how do I turn that into something that's useful? Well, it's hard for me to turn fear into faith, or fear into happiness, or fear into joy, because those, if you look at like a feelings wheel, and those feelings are on the opposite side. It's a long journey.
Yeah, you got to go through the whole
right. But I can slide something that's a little closer is defiance.
Yes.
Rebellion.
Good.
Right. And I can get defiant and I can get rebellious about, what people think, about people's opinions, about I can get defiant about the system. I can get defiant about the way in which we've all been sort of, programmed to, become, factory workers and employees and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think learning how our bodies, how to work with them, what are interchangeable emotions that I can sort of step sideways into. I may not be able to go from fear to happiness or joy. That might come off as fake and probably is fake.
Yeah.
But I can probably take that fear and turn it into some defiance. What comes up for you as I rant a little? Does that resonate with you?
Oh yeah, it's so good. It's just I was taking it all in. It's so good. That's where I want to have a hat right now. I know, right? That is so good. Yeah, it's like I don't really even have words to.
You're
That was
speechless.
good. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'll be here for another,
That is so
20,
good.
30 minutes.
Yes.
So what has it been like to go from, being face to face, working to go to being on the internet and generating or attracting strangers and having them reach out to you and be impacted by your words and message. I mean, what is that like for you to actually have people, I always say it's easier to turn a client into a friend than a friend into a client,
Yeah. Mhm.
and so, you're experiencing now turning cold strangers into warm audience and, even hot buyers.
Yes.
What's that experience like for you? Is it a little surprising? Is it a little, how it works and that it does work and that all
Mhm.
the systems, generating leads and getting people to give you their email address and moving them through your funnel what is that experience like
Yeah.
for?
It just feels so empowering, especially when they're reaching out to you and they're having their own success stories and being able to hear, what is changing in their lives, is what really brings me joy. Um, but yes, it's people from all over the world, and that's what I absolutely love, because then we're able to share our stories and, you know, um, just with still kind of being new, it's almost like we're going through this process together. So
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think that sometimes we get so caught up in, well, I don't have the right support group, or I don't have people locally who understand what I'm doing, or none of
Yeah.
my friends and family understand what I'm doing, but it's actually not as hard as you would imagine if you got to work and started applying to build a new audience of people who can become your virtual community. I'm not going to say family. I'm not going to,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I
It
mean,
almost feels like it sometimes. Yeah.
right,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
you call them whatever you want. I'm just
Yeah.
going to call them community for the purpose of it,
Yes.
keeping it focused on a kind of a professional term. But yeah, it's actually, I think that if you're feeling alone in your business,
Mm-hmm.
if you're feeling like you're never going to get anywhere, or you're going to be isolated and alone in this, you have to focus 100% on building your audience, because you attract your tribe, you attract your
Mm-hmm.
community, you build that community. And once they start engaging and interacting with you, once they start asking you for things, and sending you questions, being
Yes.
interested in what you're doing, now all of a sudden you're serving a community, you're serving a group of people, and there is a unique fulfillment of that service work
Mm-hmm.
that before the money, right? To where
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
begin to feel useful and you begin to feel wanted and needed. And it does not take a huge audience for that to begin to happen,
No. No. Yes. Not at all.
and so I think that a lot of us need to get over the launching section so we can get into that leadership. You mentioned leadership before.
Mhm.
What are some of your leadership focuses? How could somebody develop their leadership skills in this arena, in this business, even with a small audience? For example, my tip would be to, remember that how you serve one person is how you serve everybody. If you can't be there and focus on serving one human being, then God, the universe, however you want
Mhm.
to view it,
Yeah.
is probably not going to give you a larger audience for you to serve, because how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Mhm.
What's something that comes up for you when you think about leadership and applying it in this business, in this arena?
I think, or I feel a lot of times, you'll go into this and you're like, you'll have that set, like, I need to, well, okay, so leadership is more, how can I help? How can I be of service? Really in a business. I mean, you get a lot further when you are being of resource, being of help, being that leader, being able to, yeah. I'm kind of, yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, what I hear you saying is that, a lot of people think of leadership as this kind of dominating, like, I'm going to tell you what to do. And
Yeah.
what I hear you saying is having the mindset of, how can I help? How can
Hmm.
I serve? what
Mhm.
can I do for you, instead of what can you do for me? And
Yes. Yes.
I'm right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the opportunity that we have here, is to make people feel safe and make people feel comfortable,
Mhm.
by being, first and foremost, our authentic self, and then second of all, actually being approachable and making it easy for people to ask us questions or be around us or listen to us. You had mentioned earlier before we went live that, you know, you get nervous and giggle.
And I
Well,
just laugh. Yeah.
you know what's funny is that so many people throughout this live has said, Jordan, your laugh is so uplifting. I
Aw.
absolutely love it. Look.
Oh yeah, I just said yeah. Aw.
Look at this, Carlos. I'm in love with your laugh. So authentic
Aw.
and contagious. Feel
Gives
feel
me chills.
like feel you like always know you.
Aw.
Um, I mean, I've seen so many comments about your just your energy and
Mhm.
your laugh and your. What has it been like for you to be? Monty says, it makes you smile.
Aw.
What has it been like?
My heart.
Susie says you're just sunshine. What has it been like
Aw.
for you to be your authentic self out here and have people appreciate you online? Now, not to say there's not bullies and people who are going to be a-holes no matter where you go.
Yeah.
What's it been like for you to be your authentic self and to be appreciated for that from your audience and from the people who are now following you?
Mhm. It just makes me being your authentic self is so important. What makes you feel happy, what makes you feel joy, and being able to share that with the world, people can feel it. Um, yeah, it feels good. Um,
What
I'm it's like me, happiness is moving, is dancing. So a lot of my videos, you'll see me moving. That's what, I think we need to move our bodies to, adjust and get whatever extra energy you don't need in your body out. And so a lot of my videos, you'll see me moving, you'll see me dancing. It's just what my authentic self, it just makes me happy.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, and it's probably, for some people, I feel like moving is such an important thing to also get, like, shake out anxiety, to move a muscle, change a thought. This
Yeah.
was one of the phrases that I learned in recovery early on.
Mm.
It's like, if you're sitting around having a negative thought, if you're thinking about making a bad decision, move a muscle, change a thought, man. It's
So
amazing,
perfect.
yeah, how much you can affect what you're thinking in your mindset just by moving. I mean, if you go
Mm.
to Tony Robbins' event, for
Yeah.
example,
God.
you are happy and you are just out of your mind, positive and feeling uplifted and connected while you're there, and that man has you dancing up out of your seat the whole freaking
So
time,
good.
like you're a crazy person. I mean, I remember being there, and
He's so
I
good.
mean,
Yes.
we were laying on the floor. I'm serious. 4,000 people in a room. We're laying on a floor. We're, as he's saying, you know uh, his meditations, or
Yeah.
speaking,
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
meditations. Then the next minute we're up, we're dancing, we're raising the roof, we're high fiving, and there is he's all about emotion follows motion. It follows motion. It's like your emotion follows motion. if
Yeah.
you're if you're stagnant, if you're stationary, if you're sitting, staring at your phone all day, look, I get it, you want to do research, you want to look at what other people are doing, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a standing desk. I
Oh,
can I can raise. See, I'm staying seated right now. See how my desk is raising
oh,
pretty soon.
nice. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So
Hmm.
I can stand up if I want to at this desk. It's real helpful, right? To get me
Hmm.
up out of my chair. a lot of times if I'm on the phone or something, I'm kind of pacing, walking around. So I think that's a great reminder for those of you who are spending a lot of time on your butts to get your ass up and
Oh my gosh, it can put you into a funk too, because especially when you're kind of starting everything, you're on your phone, you're on your devices, you're on your social. And yeah, I thank goodness have a lake right by my house, and I will just make myself get up, go to that lake, go move around, just be in that, energy of
will you jump in it or
nature.
just walk around it?
Oh my gosh. Well, soon. We're in Iowa, so it's still cold. We haven't got our 80, 90 degrees yet. Yeah,
I thought
we're in the
that,
cold.
but you will swim in it?
I want to be in the Florida, the Florida ocean.
Yeah.
I'm not a big lake person. I'm definitely an ocean girl, but
You just like to walk around it?
I just like to walk and hear the waves like it's the ocean, That's I envision the ocean while I'm at the lake. So someday I will be by the ocean when the kids grow up.
It's a beautiful thing, and just getting out of the house. I mean, just
Oh yeah.
taking a break. I think mental health, keeping your mind fresh and not totally overwhelmed looking at a screen. You got to get up. You got to move around. You got to take breaks. You got to set timers.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it all. I've sat at my computer for hours and hours on end, and I've done the opposite, which is have more of a balanced, work, and it's still a work in progress for me as well. What have you learned
I know
about?
I always said I could never sit at a desk for the rest of my life. I don't know how people do it. And here now I'm doing it and I love it. But yes, being able to have that freedom or that where you can get up and you can go do your thing. You're at your house or you're wherever your heart desires. That's the beautiful thing about being online,
Yeah,
kind of
totally.
wherever. Yeah, you're on your time, you're on your everything. So yeah.
So, what have you learned about yourself throughout this process?
Um, oh my gosh, stay consistent. I'm like, I am doing this. Like, I am doing the thing. And um, gosh, it's really like figuring out what avenues work best for you. Like talking about there's so many different social media aspects and what works for you and what doesn't work for you and not giving up because some like Facebook has been my biggest everything. I've done TikTok, I've done Instagram, I've done Pinterest, I everything. Yeah, just staying consistent and figuring out what works for you. Don't give up. Every business, I think you got to give it time. You got to set a goal where, hey, 6 months, I want to have everything going in a month. And then I want, 6 months is my goal. Or, yeah, setting goals, I think, is really important.
So, what's the difference in your eyes between Facebook and for example Instagram? I mean, what talk to us a little bit about the difference in the platforms. Like, what's your favorite? Why is it your favorite?
Well, that is something that I have struggled with because I want to figure out Instagram. And so it's like a goal of mine to figure out the algorithm of Instagram with what has worked for me is going on my personal page, my personal and turning that into business just because everybody knows me. So that has been my hardest thing is starting a business, having a name for it. And then like, I guess I just haven't felt that personal connection towards it being a business. So yeah, Instagram's been fun for me. I definitely have had my rounds with it. But Facebook is where it's at for me.
And that's
For right
very,
now.
yeah. No,
I'm
that's
still
very
working on Instagram. Yeah.
yeah, and that's very common that people have more success on one platform than the other, and then eventually it can take off on another platform. The other thing that everybody should remember is that these platforms change so much. You can post, you can be caught up in thinking that you're never going to have, you're never going to crack the code on a particular platform. And the truth is that, these platforms change so much. They're developing so much. They're coming out with new features so often. They're tweaking algorithms so much that you really have to have a line in the water to catch a fish.
Oh my God. Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't, like, again, I'm going back to the fishing analogy here, because it's such a perfect, it's such a perfect analogy for so many different situations. But, whenever you're fishing, the fish might not be biting for a period of time, and then you pull your bait out of the thing and you sit there and complain and whine that they're not biting, but you're not going to catch a fish if you don't have a line in the water. So you want to make sure that if you are complaining and bitching and moaning, that you at least do it with your pole in your hand with a line in the water.
Yes.
And so my advice to all of you who are feeling that same discouragement about cracking the code on any particular strategy is make sure that you are still doing it while you're bitching and moaning and complaining. You know what I mean? And it's okay to be frustrated. If you're not frustrated, you're not trying, right? So it's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to have emotion. It's okay to be passionate. It's okay to be dedicated and be persevering. But make sure that as you're doing it, you have a line in the water, because you never know when a video is going to take off, or maybe an algorithm is going to get tweaked or something's going to change, and you're there, right? You're there to take advantage of it. And there's this saying that Russell Brunson and ClickFunnels have, which is you're only one funnel away. And they mean that you're only like one funnel away from your next, $1 million or life being changed. But what I think is it's simpler than that. I actually think you're only one video away. You don't even have to have a funnel set up to have a video go viral. You don't. Anybody can, right? And so you're actually only one video away from your entire perspective being changed about what works and what doesn't. And so, you have to have a line in the water, right? You have to have a line in the water in order to catch a fish. And so I love that you're working on cracking the code as you're doing it. Well, my friend, it's been a pleasure. It's been fun. It's been great to talk with you this morning. I look forward to
honored. Yeah, so honored.
Continuing the conversation here in the future. Stay legendary, and I'll talk to you really soon. Okay, Jordan?
That's great. Thank you.
All right. See you later.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, my friends, you can find Jordan over on Instagram and Facebook Jordan Lynae, and Instagram, it's.jordanlynae, Lynae. All right, my friends, great conversation this morning. Love it, and love the motivation, the mindset focus, just all the focus around, not giving up before your miracle happens, whatever that miracle is, right? And it doesn't particularly have to be big money or anything like that. This is about building your confidence. This is about building, your mindset. This is about becoming the person that you need to be in order to be successful. Remember, this is a school for entrepreneurship in leadership. We are preparing you for a new career or side hustle, if it just wants to be something that you do on the side. We're preparing you for that journey. That journey doesn't happen in 1 week or 1 month, or oftentimes even 1 year, right? The first year is oftentimes all of the developmental stage. You're a fetus. You're a newborn baby. As some people have called themselves on the show previously, you're an embryo, for God's sakes. Give yourself a break. Understand this is going to be a process and a journey. Let all the emotions come to surface, as we talked about: the frustration, the anger, the fear. Turn it into that defiance, that rebellion. Turn it into something that's useful for you, that you can actually use to build off of, and don't quit on yourself, right? Because ultimately, it's your goals and your dreams that you've set for yourself, and the rude and cold reality about life, as well as business building, is nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to do it for you. All right. So you have to be the advocate for yourself. You have to be the one who's the number one cheerleader for yourself in your own business. You have to be that while you're cheering on and serving your audience. But you have to give yourself what you need. You can't rely on other people to do that for you. And that means the encouragement, the starting your day over, whatever you have to do to help manage your emotions and make them useful for you so you can be productive and keep on going. All right, my friends, we'll see you back here tomorrow for another episode. We have a lot of things, exciting things in the mix. Remember, we're launching a new challenge. I did an update on all the exciting things we have a couple of days ago, a solo episode. I think it was on Monday. So tune into that if you want to hear what's going on with Legendary. Remember, all these episodes are uploaded to all the major podcast platforms so you can listen to the audios. If you want to get a text message reminder whenever we go live, you can text WUL to 813-296-8553. And we will see you back here tomorrow for another episode. Get out of here. Peace.